Hey guys, so today we're checking out the K&N Blackhawk cold air intake fitting all 2016 and newer 3.5 liter Toyota Tacomas. So this will be for the Tacoma owners who are looking for an effective way to upgrade their intake with some sleek under the hood styling. Now this will do a great job at opening up that airflow for your truck to see some small gains, especially when it comes to some better throttle response for your Tacoma. This will also help a bit when it comes to fuel economy as well, simply by just helping your engine breathe better. Now where this kit really shines is the filtration and making sure that no contaminants are going to get to your engine components while still being very high flow and giving you those gains that you're looking for. Now, this will also be for the truck owner who is a fan of a heat shield application over a closed box or air box design. I would like to mention this type of application will be a bit more sensitive to water, so because it's not as protected as an air box design is. So if you do live in a drier climate or you don't do a lot of water fording or mudding, this will be a solid option for you. Not to mention, this will just look a lot sportier than your factory airbox with a stealthy, completely blacked out construction. I would like to note that this will not be CARB certified, so keep that in mind if you do live in an emission restrictive state. Now getting a little bit more into the construction here, this will have a straight through flow style aluminum intake tube, getting rid of a lot of that restriction that you were originally getting with your factory intake tube. This will also let up a lot of restriction, getting rid of the factory airbox and upgrading to this heat shield that will increase airflow, but also help protect the filter from any hot engine bay air by sealing it to the hood with the supplied seal that's going to go around the airbox here or the heat shield here. Now speaking of that filter, this will come with an oil-free, non-woven synthetic filter media, which will optimize your filtration without hindering any airflow. This is also washable and reusable, so this will last way longer than your factory paper filter that you would have to change after so many thousand miles. Not to mention, this is going to have a stealthy black construction. As you can see, every piece of this intake is going to have a blacked out look, which will be a great option if you're looking for something that's going to be super sleek underneath the hood. All of the metal components are going to have a nice black powder coat finish on top, not only to protect the aluminum underneath, but also just go along with the theme of this intake. I personally think a black filter with an all black construction looks very stealthy in comparison to some other options that may come with an all black construction, but a different colored filter like red or blue. So if you're a fan of that, then this is going to be the right choice for you. Now with that being said, this is going to come in at roughly $550, making this more of a premium choice when it comes to the cold airs in the category. Now when it comes down to choosing an intake, it really comes down to your application. You need to choose what is right for you. Some other choices in the category may come with a completely different setup where they may look a little bit similar. So with this one, you are getting a heat shield that is going to be a little bit higher flow, as to where some other choices are going to have that closed box choice that I mentioned before. Not to mention, again, it's an all black construction. It really stands out from the other options, considering that a lot of other choices will either come with a different colored intake tube or mainly a different color filter. You'll see a lot of choices out there with a red or blue filter, and this really stands out because it is a black filter here. And this kit will also come with a dry filter, as where some other choices will come with an oiled filter. Now there's not a big difference between the two, but some people do prefer a dry over an oiled and vice versa. So if you are in the dry category and you're looking for something that's going to give your truck some gains, help it breathe a little bit better, and is going to give you a stealthy look in the meantime, then this is going to be right up your alley. This kit will also come with a 1,000,000-mile limited warranty to keep a peace of mind there. Now, as far as the install is concerned, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. And one of our installers here is going to walk you through that process step by step. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools used for today's install: 19mm wrench, a ratchet, 3mm Allen, 4mm Allen, short extension, 10, 12, and 13mm sockets, 10mm wrench, flathead screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver, plastic fastener remover, pair of dikes, and a cordless impact.
What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be going over the installation process for your cold air intake. Let's get started. All right, now that we got our hood up, the first step we're going to do is remove the engine cover. You're just going to pull up on it. It's going to be in place by some rubber grommets and then pull out like that. All right, so for this part, we're going to need our clip removal tool. We're going to start by unplugging the mass airflow sensor, just like that. And you're gonna get your clip removal tool and remove the harness off of the airbox. And we can just lay that aside for right now. Next, we're gonna get our 10mm socket with our cordless and loosen up the hose clamps. They are 10mm. Then you just want to crack this loose from the actual airbox, the snorkel tube. Just like that. And pull it off with the throttle body. And lay that just like that for now. Okay, so before we remove this snorkel tube entirely, you're gonna have a vacuum line to the right side of it. I'm gonna turn this so you can see it. This is gonna need to be removed. It's a finger clamp, so you just squeeze it and pull it down. We are gonna need that later, so just leave the clamp on and kind of just give it a twist and pull at the same time. Then there's gonna be one more remaining plastic clip. We're gonna get our clip removal tool and remove that. And then now you can take this out entirely. All right, so to remove the air box, you're gonna have two clips on the other side. You're just gonna pull down and lift up, just like that. Same thing on the other side. And you're gonna lift out just like that. And we can put this to the side too. And now remove your engine air filter. All right, so now we can remove the air box. We're gonna use our 12mm socket along with our cordless. You're gonna have 3 bolts, one in the rear by the ABS pump, and then 2 in the actual air box. We're gonna go ahead and remove those now. All right, so for this part, you're gonna wanna get the top of your air box because we are gonna have to reuse the mass airflow sensor. We have our Phillips screwdriver and we're gonna remove that right now. And usually there's just a seal there. You're just gonna pry lightly and up and try and be very cautious with this and try not to touch anything. And we're gonna put that off to the side. All right, so for the first part of this installation, we got our intake tube. Now we want to transfer over our mass airflow sensor. It does only go one way, but you want the arrow facing that open hole. You're just gonna slip it on and press it in. Make sure it's seated correctly and everything's lined up. Now we're gonna take our 3mm Allen bolts, came with the kit. Start those by hand. Now we're gonna get our 3mm Allen socket and go ahead and tighten these down. And you don't want to go crazy tight, but just a little bit, just so you know it's snug. So now we're going to install our adapter for our vacuum line. It should be threaded and barbed on one side. We're going to start that by hand. And once you feel a little bit of a resistance, you can get your 19mm wrench and just a little bit. You don't want to go crazy tight because this is plastic. All right, so we got our heat shield and our air filter adapter. You're gonna have 2 threads on either side. We're gonna put this on the inside of the heat shield just like so. And we're gonna line up our holes. We're gonna get our 4mm Allen bolts along with a lock washer on the inside. And we're gonna start these by hand. Same thing on the other side. And then now we're gonna get our 4mm Allen socket and go ahead and tighten these down. All right, so now that we're at the original spot where we took the airbox out, the bolts that we removed, in order to remove the airbox, we're gonna install these rubber studs. They're gonna install, one's gonna be right in front of where the ABS module was, right there. And we're just gonna screw these in, hand tight. Then you're gonna have another one, it's gonna go right by this wire. You may have to kind of move the wire out of the way. And again, hand tight. And then out of the larger, you're gonna have a double-sided one. This will be the larger of the two. That's gonna go right by where your power steering reservoir is. It's gonna be difficult to see, but you will see it. It's gonna be between the washer pump and the washer reservoir and the power steering fluid reservoir. And same thing, hand tight. Back to those rubberized studs. We are going to mount our bracket now. We want to make sure that the slotted side is facing up. We're going to just put it on like so. We got our flat washer and our nylon nut, should be 13mm, and we're going to put those on. Then using our 13mm socket, we're gonna go ahead and tighten this down. And now it doesn't need to be cranked down because we may need to adjust it, but just snug. All right, so now it's time to install our trim molding onto our heat shield. We're gonna start at the bottom. And you're gonna slowly just work your way up. It's not a bad idea to go back around and make sure everything's tight. It is going to take some finessing. And then as you can see, we're going to have a little bit of an excess part, and we're going to cut that with a pair of dikes. Right now, we're going to try and cut a little above. All right, and again, you want to cut just a little, like a hair right above the end of it. So we're going to find our spot right here. All right, now back to the engine bay where we had installed those rubber grommets. We're going to install our heat shield now. You're going to see how they line up with those rubber studs that we installed. We're going to get our M6 by 12 bolts with a lock washer, then followed by a flat washer. And we're going to install those now. Let's get those hand tight. You may have to move the box around a little bit to get it to line up. There we go. And then now we're going to get our 10mm socket and snug these down. All right, so now we're going to take our M6 by 16 along with a flat washer and a lock washer, I'm sorry, correction, a lock nut, and we're just going to drop that in right where that bracket was, and then you're going to go around and put that nut on. I'm going to have to put my hand here to hold this in place and just get it started. And we're going to get our 10mm open wrench and get that on the other side of the nut, along with our 10mm socket, and snug this down. All right, now it's time to install our actual air filter itself. You're gonna want to grab the largest worm gear clamp that is in the kit, and we're going to install that right now and tighten it down with a flathead screwdriver. And it's going to go over it just like that, and make sure it's tight all the way around, feel underneath. And again, you just want to hold your clamp in place using your flathead screwdriver and go ahead and tighten this down. Nice and snug. Don't want to go overboard. Just give it a wiggle, make sure it doesn't move, and you are good to go. All right, so now it's time to install our reducer hose. We're putting the larger side facing the air filter using the larger of the 4 clamps. You may have to loosen up your clamp a little bit to get it on all the way. There we go. Now just line up the clamp, make sure it's centered, and go ahead and tighten that with your flathead screwdriver. All right, so now it's time to install our intake pipe. Make sure you put your clamp on before installing the pipe. Make sure, you might want to loosen it up a tad so it fits on easier. And you're going to insert it as far as it'll go. And just snug this up the slightest bit so you can still kind of move this around, because we are going to need to do that. Just this clamp just keeps this from falling. All right, so now our silicone hose with the hump and our 2 remaining clamps, we're going to install that on from the pipe to the throttle body. Just like that. All right, now that we have all of our hose connectors and clamps in place, it's good to tighten these up now with our flathead screwdriver. It doesn't hurt to go back around and double check, and then just give it a nice shake, make sure it's nice and secured. So now we can reinstall our vacuum line right onto this barbed fitting until it stops, and then again another pinch clamp. Just give that a nice little pull, make sure that that's tight as well. Now we can install our mass airflow sensor harness. Make sure you hear that click, and if you'd like, you can kind of zip tie these any way you want. We're not going to do that for video purposes. And finally, guys, now it's time to reinstall our engine cover. You're going to just push it back like so and kind of line it up, and you should feel it sit into some grommets like that. Give it a nice little pull, make sure it's nice and secure. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today's review and install for the K&N Blackhawk cold air intake, fitting your 2016 to current 3.5 liter Tacomas. Thanks for watching, and for all things Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.